Hello, and welcome to ARC Encounters. My name is Natalia Bashura, and I'm going to be your host today. Today, your guide is going to be Bernard Bashura as he talks about immunity through the lens of communication with a special VIP guest. I'm personally super excited for today's show because I'm studying communication in college, and it's going to be really interesting to find that intersection between communication and immunity. So with that, let's jump onto the ARC Path, and we're going to start with a short clip learning more about what the ARC Path is all about.
AHRK is the lifestyle path to better choices. It empowers us to live life to the fullest and paves the way for people like you and me to discover our unique purpose and passion. Choosing to walk the AHRK path invites transformation and growth in 5 key areas of life: leadership, communication, mindset, community, and lifestyle. As we dive into these lenses, they redirect our focus and guide us into a deeper understanding of where we're at today and where we're going tomorrow. This is ARC Encounter. Welcome to the ARC Path.
Hi, my name is Bernard Bashura, and welcome to ARC Encounters. It's so exciting to be back here and connecting with you. Again, you are not just our viewer, but you really are a partner on this ARC Path that we're celebrating on. And so today, the topic that we're talking about is it's immunity through a lens of communication. And communication is so vital. It's something that we touch every day. We communicate internally with ourselves. We communicate with the world around us. But what are we saying to ourselves about immunity, and what are we saying to the world? How do we encounter the world in that? And so today we have with us an amazing guest. His name is Casey Cox. He's a friend, and it's important that I'm calling him a friend because that's what you do with friends. You communicate. So welcome, Casey Cox.
So glad to be with you and to be a part of this on this side of the journey.
Well, that's great. Well, we thank you for that. And it just Casey is a communicator in everything that he does. But one of the things that I've always taken away from him is that inner peace that he has in communicating to be settled within himself. And so, Casey, where does that begin with you?
You know you said it accurate. It begins inside of me,
Mm.
and I think that's really what sets me up as my values, the authenticity, the integrity. For me, it's probably a faith-based word called righteousness. It doesn't have to be applied that way, but to be in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, the right motivation. I don't mind being right. And as it comes to communication, hey, my point of view is always right because it's the only one I have.
Yeah.
So those are my values that really maybe set me apart and give me a different angle on it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've learned about Casey is that he's an amazing communicator, but he doesn't say a whole lot. And so what is that distinction? I mean, what we all think to be a great communicator, you just have to talk a lot. And the people that talk a lot, we say, wow, those must be great communicators. But you're not one of those people, but you're an amazing communicator. So what is that?
What sets me apart? It's an acknowledgement that listening is powerful. And I think from my language, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you got to use your ears twice as often as you speak. So that perspective invites me to be a more present communicator. For years, I spoke to large audiences. I've been on stages and I've held the microphone. But I've found that life transforms through one-on-one communication. And so I don't mind being on a stage or communicating to a lot of people at one time. But really, my identity is to really be a coach, to be a connector. I like to call myself a chaplain. I just walk with people on their spiritual journey.
Ah, I love that. And again, talking to you right now, what does your communication skill look like? Are you really listening to us? Are you really listening to what we're saying? Are you focused on every word, or are you just busy and just kind of you're tuning in and out? So when we tune people in and out, what is that? How much do we actually hear, and what can we communicate back out to them?
So being present with somebody is an art. It's a choice to show up, and I really believe that everything communicates. And so as it comes to who I am as an individual, I think part of my purpose or part of my journey is to walk in the shoes with other people, to learn their journey and better understand them, so that they can come to get to know me, and then we walk a road out together. So how do we do that? It takes time. It takes choice. It takes effort, and really connecting deeply with people to better understand where they're coming from.
Love that. Love that. And then just kind of to tie that back into our topic, which is immunity. If for me, it was important to really start there and set the stage for what does immunity look like, and that's kind of what you just presented, because the idea that we begin thinking about how do we make ourselves healthier, more invulnerable, well, actually invulnerable, actually,
Yeah.
to the world around us, and it's this concept of communication and how to be healthy with yourself. Why don't you draw that back out to our viewer? What is that? Where would you start them off on that journey?
I think what I would go back to what I was saying about the values is everybody has just one story to share, and that's their story. And when it comes to immunity, I can't impact the immunity of anybody else. What I can do is take care of my life and make the choices that are best for me. And as I communicate, I can't assume what your point of view is, and I can't try to think for anybody else. I simply have to choose to say, what's my message? What do I value? And how do I want to share that with the world? That's really where that concept of being unarguable comes from, for me at least. It's an understanding of saying, I'm not trying to argue with anybody. I'm not wanting to be offensive or defensive. I'm simply wanting to share what matters most to me. And so immunity is the same place, is where when I start taking care of my life, I recognize that everything matters, just like everything communicates.
Love that. And this is kind of where we begin with the ARC path, is this first concept of acknowledge. And one of the things that Casey just did is he acknowledged what matters to him. And so when we shift back to that, it becomes, it's really, it brings it home. I'm acknowledging that what matters is talking to, well, being centered in me and then communicating to others. So how would you give acknowledgement to others? Because you work with a lot of people, and what you find is it's hard to get their attention, even though they want your attention.
That was loaded. Yes, it's hard to get other people's attention, even though they might want my attention.
Yes.
The acknowledgement is the distraction. Everybody's distracted. I mean, social media is the key distraction. Your phone is glamoring to get your attention. Your thoughts are all over the place. You have demands on your schedule, your time, your energy, and everything is being pulled apart. And so when we acknowledge, we simply say, that's true.
Wow.
And then we take a deep breath. I have the pressure of all of these things in my life. And then I can come present with what's my current thought. And so as I'm communicating, I have to just release all the distractions. In the same way, when it comes to immunity, it's a concept of stress. And if my body is under a lot of stress, my immunity goes down. And so when we're communicating, if I'm trying to be perfect, if I'm trying to solve everybody's issue, if I'm wanting to make sure I'm understood perfectly, that's a lot of stress as a speaker. And so I need to find a way to release that stress and represent me better than trying to be everybody else.
Wow, that was a lot.
That was a lot. I'll give it back up to you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take a drink.
I need to drink the whole cup now, but I will be watching this definitely myself, just to really capture all that again. But one of the things that I caught from it is that to be settled and to be able to focus on what's going on inside of me allows me to communicate back out and to hear others. That in itself builds my immunity. Again, we think of immunity. I'm just going to take a pill and I'm going to be immune. I'm going to take this drink or whatever it is. But the reality is, if I'm settled and if I'm at peace and I'm hearing others and others are hearing me, I'm immune to whatever's going to come at me. So let's move on to our next topic of discussion, which is, well, how do you move from acknowledgement to healing? And again, it's something that you've been on the journey. Are you still healing?
Every day. Every day I release what doesn't work for me. And a lot of that is my thoughts. I have to take my thoughts captive. In the same way that I might communicate with you right now, I have to communicate with myself. And there are times that the voices in my head are telling me something that's not helpful. And so healing is being able to identify that as almost like an attack. It's like a blow. Somebody's hitting me, and I can stop that, push that off, and then go, what's my truth? What is the truth? And so am I healing? Constantly. Now I'm getting better at blocking, and so it's not landing as often. There were seasons when it was like, you just come out of like getting 12 rounds and you go, I just can't do this anymore. But healing is a daily engagement. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people look for healing after the math, after the problem. So I need a miracle, but I think it's an everyday miracle when we choose to choose something healthy. So I'll give you somebody can go to exercise to think, oh, if I exercise, I'll be healthier. And we can look at that through lifestyle. But there's a difference between being in motion and just getting out and walking and going and beating my body up. You go to the gym for 4 hours and go, there, I really did a good thing. I'm going to boost my immunity. I'm going to go 8 hours today in the gym. No, you're actually going to hurt yourself. And we do the same thing with communication. Sometimes we just need to shut up.
Oh, I don't know how to do that, but we will try. Thank you for the advice. And you know what? It's just to draw you in. I mean, this idea that I'm acknowledging what's going on inside of me. I'm acknowledging that I need to communicate that peace that's inside of me out. But this concept of I need healing, and here you're talking to a veteran life coach that is actually reaching for healing every day. And where are you reaching for healing? And you reach for it every day. And that's kind of what we do on the AHRK Path is we share. We share insight, we share passion, we share stories. So that's what we'd like from you is where are you at on your healing path? Because it's critical. We want to learn from you as much as we want to give you what we have. Because it is a community that we're looking to build. And so we go from healing into this concept of restoration. I mean, again, it just we pull it apart in AHRK and for a specific reason, just to segment it out of, well, you know what, I've reached for healing. What do you do with it?
You live into it and you grow and you learn and you discover. I love that Natalia opened up with that she's studying communication as part of college, and I did too, but mine was a little while ago. But the journey started there just as I learned that as a human race, we've been communicating forever, whether it be going back to stick figures and hieroglyphics on a wall to memorizing. People used to memorize entire, like the entire book of the Bible. Somebody would memorize it. And today we have a hard time memorizing phone numbers. Where did that go? We've lost the art of communication. We want it to be easy. We want to take that pill and get immunity in the same way that we want to make it easy to communicate. And it's work. And so as we build our bodies, we restore. As we build our communication resources, we become more aware that the words I choose, which most people focus on, are some of the least important parts of my communication. It's body language, it's tone, it's emphasis, it's things that really come out. So as we bring this restoration concept together, it's a journey and we get to work on it. I'm a better communicator when I make a mistake and recognize, ooh, I won't do that again. That's that resiliency of getting back up and taking responsibility. When something comes out the wrong way, I own it. And I go, hey, I need forgiveness for that. Can you forgive me for saying something that I really didn't intend to communicate? And now what communicated was the apology more than the mistake.
Wow.
And that's how communication builds.
Well, and again, as that's how rich it lives deep inside Casey. I just want to tell you, I mean, it just, in connecting with him, and that's kind of why he was chosen for this topic of communication. He has a passion for it, and it's something that he loves, and he knows the power of it. And the reality is, you got to work at it. It's a critical, vital component of your immunity to be a communicator. Words are important, and the way they live in your mindset is critical, and the way you use them is, they've been compared with a sword, and that's how powerful they are. And so we tie that into a lens of communication. But how do you give that as a restoration? It's how does words and the way you communicate, how does that bring restoration into your life, into those of the people around you?
Well, I think the engagement of recognizing that life and death is in your tongue. So that's an ancient concept captured in Scripture. Life and death is in the tongue. So how do I give it away? I speak life. I build up others with encouragement. I build myself up with affirmation, and I use gratitude and thanksgiving as a way to build an environment like a shelter around me, so that those blows can't get in. And that's really what we're doing in that restoration sense. We're saying, what is it that I'm going after? What is the outcome I want to achieve? And how can I use words to bridge that gap from where I am to where I want to go?
So words like, I forgive you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Keep going.
Can I have some money? Well, almost. We're getting there. So I'll keep asking him, though. Don't worry about it. But this concept of restoration is life-giving. Words are life-giving. They take a life, as kind of Casey was pointing, but they're also life-giving. And we want to hear your words. Like, what are you experiencing with us out here? Come and give us your feedback. Give us your wisdom, your experience, your affirmation, your love, and if your criticism. What did you like? What didn't you like? And what do you think about immunity? What are your experiences with immunity? And especially, where does communication live inside of you? Because we want to learn. We've grown, and we challenge each other, and we hold each other accountable as friends. And this is where I started with this concept of friendship. Is we have a connection point, but we're so different. But that's where we come and celebrate. And for me, that's something that I've always enjoyed. Let's bring it to a concept of kingdom. And it's what is like communication. People tell you're a great communicator all the time, but where does that rest inside of you? What does that, how do you feel about that?
I'm going to take the celebration concept and think about if you're going to a celebration, maybe a wedding or a party of something, you think more about what you're going to wear. We're going to go here. What are we going to wear? And that's communication. When you're going to give a gift at that party, that's communication. The way that you greet people as you show up. Do you hug them? Do you wave high fives? Do you hand fist bump? Or do you go in the room and ignore? That's communication. And immunity is as subtle as that. When I wake up in the morning, if I think, I don't want to do today, it's not going to go well. Nothing works well for me. I don't care anymore. That's communicating, and it kills the celebration. It just erodes your confidence to be able to take on this next day. And so really this is where we tie it to mindset and communication come together. But it's the opportunity we have to say, no, I want my communication to be a party. I want people to want to know what I'm about to say because it's going to encourage them. It's going to lift them up. I have people tell me all the time, thank you. I go, for what? They say, just being positive. And being able to communicate positive has to start being positive on the inside.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that's something that's one of the things that we have in common is that how do we celebrate life and how do we celebrate each other in everything that we do? That there are days that I wake up and it's hard to gosh, I know what's ahead of me today. I need strength for that, and this is kind of where I go into my routines to help me with that. And but it's something that you've I don't want to say you've mastered it, but you understand it. What is your typical day where you can share either or a good day where you jump out of bed and you're ready to go, and other days where you just pull the covers back and go away.
Do I get to share either? First off, there are days that I don't want to get up.
Yes.
And it's those days specifically that are most important for me to remember that I can choose what I do next.
Training. That's
training.
That's your training.
And then the days that I choose not to get out of bed, I choose not to get out of bed.
Yes.
And I simply say, you know what? I'm going to take some time to reset, to enjoy this moment, and let it speak. The days, what fuels me, what gets me excited when I'm not having a good day, is hanging out with people. I mean, I'm a unique breed, and it doesn't have to be positive people for me. In fact, sometimes people that are really screwed up, they really help me have a great day because I get an opportunity to be with them. And it doesn't bother me if somebody's not having a good day. That doesn't ruin my day, and I can go sit with them in their stuff. And then really just kind of be present with them. So
that's why we're friends. You got it on tape now. You know why he really likes hanging out with me.
Because your stuff doesn't ruin my day, and then we can move it forward and communicate the gift of life that we get to open together.
It is. It is a treasure. I think people think of this kingdom encounter that I'm just gonna my days if my day is perfect, if every day that I live is perfect. How boring would that be? But again, the challenges of growing, learning, helping each other, loving each other, caring for each other. For me, that's that kingdom mindset that if every day doesn't start, begin, and move and end in that, we lost something. I lost something. And I'm not saying that every day has to be perfect, but it's I have to be healthy. And when I'm healthy, my immunity is amazing. And that's kind of what you shared with us. So thank you, Casey, and thank you for really tuning in and being with us. It is so important for you to be hearing what we're saying, but it's more important for us to hear what you're saying. So help us grow the ARC path and grow more people. So we want to invite you to invite more friends next time. And of course, we have Natalia that's going to give us an amazing words about what she heard today.
Yes, that was so amazing. I actually also really liked what Casey was talking about when he was saying how you can build up your communication toolbox and kind of surround yourself with positive affirmations and communication as a way to boost your immunity. And there were so many more good hints in there. So I think that if you're really interested in kind of continuing on this journey and following the ARC path, you should hop onto our app, Circles Now, and find some more communication courses that are done by Casey. And you can also head onto our website, www.arcpath.com, as a way to learn more and grow with us. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.